Hey group, specifically, hey Carlos, Rick, Kosiwa, Yaka, Tamia, and Michelle. Um, so what I wanted to do is just walk through what you have here, give you some feedback, and I want you to watch this video and take a look at the feedback I give you via track changes for two reasons. One, it's always great to just see sort of um, how your interpretation of the assignment sort of lined up with my expectations of the assignment. But the second reason, and I think the more important reason, is this mini report is what you're going to be doing for your final assignment, except whereas this is mini, um, as in, let's see, 404 words, your actual assignment should be um, between 750 words to 1,000 words. So that's like the biggest difference. Yours is going to be expanded. And I'm going to really like walk you through the process of completing that report by identifying things you've done here that work and things you've done here that you might want to reconsider. So the first thing is for your final assignment, you want to make sure it is in APA formatting. And what that means is this would need to be Times New Roman. This would need to be double spaced, and you would need a header that has the title of the paper, right? So let's just say that the title here is Diss Tracks, and you would want a page number. Then APA also requires that you put your name here, not in caps lock, and then you start the paper. So that's just sort of advice number one, make sure you're in APA formatting. Then you write, rap and hip hop music are not just about rhyming words, rather it is sometimes a means for other forms of communication. Whether it be political rhetoric like Eminem's Revival album, or commentary on the state of the African American community like the kind of songs you would hear from NWA. The diss track has become a staple in the hip hop world and has since become increasingly common throughout other genres of music. These tracks are made by one artist insulting another in order to display their dominance in the music industry. So, here are some things I really like about this introduction. First, I like that you straight away get into your discourse community and your genre. So, you talk about, well, I don't even, you might not really be talking about, yeah, you are. Rap and hip hop is the discourse community, and then the diss track becomes the genre that you're focusing on. I also like that you're talking about the kinds of information people in this discourse community are sharing. So you say like in rap and hip hop, you have an exchange of politics, you have an exchange of the state of a community. Um, so that really works for me. Um, I didn't quite follow this sentence. The diss track has become a staple in the hip hop world and has since become increasingly common throughout other genres of music. I think what you're saying is that the diss track as a genre has actually like sort of become a part of other genres of music. That might be true, but unless you're going to be proving that in your paper, I might leave that out because that's sort of a different idea altogether. Um, the other suggestion I have is you don't necessarily bring up the word convention here. You don't identify what diss tracks look like, the characteristics of a diss track. And in your final paper, you really want your intro to, yes, describe the discourse community, yes, describe the genre. But the other thing you want to do is say, something like, in order to have an effective diss track, um, artists need to, and then you describe the things you plan on elaborating on in your body paragraph. So we'll fill this out based on what you've written in the next two paragraphs. All right, so let's continue. In order to write a decent diss track, the audience must feel the way the writer feels, and in order to do that, the writer must show the passion. In Eminem's diss track Not Alike, he mentions Machine Gun Kelly explicitly and even states that he doesn't sneak diss. As you listen to the track, you can sense his anger towards how MGK spoke about his daughter. The emotion is felt even more when MGK releases a track called Rap Devil, which is a play off of Eminem's Guinness World Record song Rap God. He disses Eminem by stating that it took him a while just to come up with a diss, and continues dissing him by stating how it's been a while since he had a hit and that he just isn't the best rapper anymore. Besides the beat and how deep the bass is, emotion can be felt by the choice of words, metaphors used, and the harsh criticisms. Great. So here I think the convention you're outlining is passion. So you would put artists need to be passionate. And you do describe the passion when you cite something that Eminem says, which is that he doesn't sneak diss. And you say that you can sense his anger. But what I would have liked is a sentence here that explains how this lyric about sneak dissing is related to passion. And I would have liked a sentence here that explains how he shows his anger. So what really would have helped here is a quote. It's great that you mentioned that you sense his anger, but your reader should really be drawn to the specific quote where you feel this anger. And then you move to MGK, which is great. And you give an example of what MGK says about him not being the best rapper anymore. But again, I'm not sure how that shows passion, so I would have liked a sentence of explanation. And then in your last sentence, you do a great job about talking like very specifically about the deep bass, the choice of words, metaphors used, and harsh criticisms. But these are all things that you could have mentioned as you were talking about these other points. So for example, right, if in the part where Eminem talks about MGK speaking about his daughter, is that a moment where the bass is really deep? If so, why not mention that here? Is the part in MGK's album, MGK's song, where he's talking about Eminem not having a hit, is there a specific word that he uses that really shows passion? If so, why not mention it there? And metaphors is absolutely an important part of diss tracks, but why not reference examples of metaphors specifically? And harsh criticisms, I think you're noting harsh criticisms in MGK's example, but you don't identify it as a harsh criticism. And so, again, why not do so right after you give that example? So that's just some feedback for this paragraph. And I guess if we were trying to take this to your final paper, a really useful formula would be identify the convention, show an example of this convention, explain how this example works, maybe explain why this convention is so necessary or is important. And then if you want, you can show another example and do the same thing. It's sort of like the meal strategy, except more specific to this assignment. So that might be a useful formula to follow for your conventions report. All right, moving on. Contrary to common belief, rappers are not the only artists who make diss tracks. It has spread through all genres of music and even become a rite of passage. Many people are familiar with Justin Timberlake's smash hit Cry Me a River, but many do not realize that this too is in fact a diss track. His 2002 hit was a track directed towards Britney Spears. The beginning line are, "You were my sun, you were my earth, but you didn't know all the ways I loved you." He talks about their failed relationship. Then in the next verse, he accuses her of cheating on him with someone else. As the song continues, you can hear how Justin goes from being hurt over the breakup to saying that she will never be able to replace him. He doesn't care if she wants him back. She can cry him a river. All right, so This is a fine paragraph that describes an example of a diss track, but this is not a paragraph that necessarily belongs in a convention report. Why? You're not analyzing any conventions here. You're just close reading a song. And so in order for this to become a paragraph for a conventions assignment, you might do something like cry me, or another important aspect of writing a diss track is speaking directly to someone you're dissing. For example, in Cry Me a River, and then you would talk about where Justin Timberlake speaks directly to Britney Spears. Then you might talk about why you want to speak directly to the person you're dissing, and then maybe even give another example. In fact, your MGK and Eminem example would work well here too, because MGK and Eminem also talk directly to one another. And I imagine one reason why this is important in a diss track is a diss track is meant to make the person you are dissing upset. And so what better way than to make someone upset than to talk directly to them and say, I am saying all of these mean things to you specifically. So that would have been a way to sort of reframe this so that it could go into a conventions report. Just a couple of format grammatical things. Names of albums should be in italics. In this paragraph, another important aspect of writing a diss track is speaking directly to someone you're dissing. It has spread and even become many people. There was something this is in fact a diss track. There was something with plural that I'm not finding now. I guess I made that up. But there was something with like a plural, needing a plural and not having it. But in any case, so just remembering that album titles have to be in italics. Making sure that you put closed quotes when you have quotes. And the motion is felt. Okay, I think I'm going to end it there. I'm just going to do a quick read through outside of this video because I do think there was another grammatical thing that I want to bring your attention to. In any case, hopefully you'll be able to use this video to create your own final report. Just a reminder, again, your final report must be between 750 to 1,000 words. It must be in APA format, and it can't be the same genre that we used here. So you can't use any of the genres that I've listed in the discussion forum. And with that, I'll leave you to it. I will be sending an announcement with a little bit more information about the final assignment, but a preemptive congratulations, because once you complete that assignment, you would have completed the course.